Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever place you are tuned on to the Life Signatures podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to ask you for a favor. This is episode number 1517. Even as we're approaching 1520, I'm going to ask you if this inspiration is motivating you, it's teaching you, it's making you to reflect. It means that it can do the same for somebody else. So I'm going to ask you to share with as many people as possible today. Just make it a point to share with 5 people and tell them, listen to this. It blessed my socks off. It blessed my heart. And listen to this. It might do the same for you, so that we can be able to make sure that as many people as possible are getting to be inspired and they're getting into this virtual incubator of purpose, productivity, and resilience. We are in the middle of a series, and we started talking about how to overcome apathy that has been in existence for quite a while in our lives. Let us continue doing that. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
We know already that apathy is a killer. In one of the episodes previously, we say that where there is apathy, there is death. And this is insidious death, where you are dead but you're alive. You are living. And sometimes you don't even know that you are dead. We're talking about potential. We're talking about ideas. We're talking about possibilities. Things that could be brought to fruition are not brought to fruition because of apathy existing in there. And we're saying that probably you are in that particular moment where there is death, so to speak, in your life. Death of an idea. Death of information that you're supposed to act upon and you didn't act upon. And there is apathy existing in your life at this moment in time. What do we do? How do we go about it? What are the things that we can be able to do to extricate ourselves out of that particular state of apathy? Yesterday, I said that the first thing you need is inspiration. Sometimes inspiration can be spontaneous, where you are not seeking for it, but it just springs out. Like I remember there is a guy called Peter J. Daniels. I'm going to Google him and find out if he's still alive, because last time I checked out he was very old, 80-something years old. But I got to be introduced to Peter J. Daniels like 5-7 years back by my mentor Mike Murdoch. He talked about Peter J. Daniels in a way that I went and I Googled Peter J. Daniels, and I found that this guy has an inspirational story. But Peter J. Daniels, at the age of 26 years, he was down and out. Apathy had worked on him. He knew that he was not going to amount to anything, because all his young years, he'd been told that he's never going to amount to anything. And the teachers told him that he was uneducable. So one day he goes to a Billy Graham crusade, and Billy Graham says in passing, God made everybody equal. For some reason, that information that strikes a chord in Peter J. Daniels' life, that is what I call inspiration. It came out of the blue, and it started working on Peter J. Daniels, so that this new revelation, he figures that I can be as good as the guy next door. If God made us equal, then I'm not that as bad as people have been saying. And he starts reading dictionaries, he starts reading English, he starts reading economics and commerce and history and biographies, and builds $1 billion industry in Australia. from nothing. He says he never had the misfortune of going to a university. But inspiration is what turned his life around. So if you're living in apathy, one of the things that you need is inspiration. And like I've said, this inspiration can come just like that, unintentional. But also, I said yesterday, please make sure you organize yourself to be inspired. In other words, seek for inspiration. Get the demotivating factors out of your life. Stop watching constant negative news, CNN and Fox News, and stop listening to who killed who and where the war is and how the prices are fluctuating. It's not going to help your psyche. Start listening to inspiration. And I told you yesterday, look for a guy called Joel Osteen. Every day he talks. The messages that he shares. He has podcasts, he has YouTube. Look for inspiration. TD Jakes is there. Les Brown is there. Tony Robbins is there. There are very many positive life-speaking people. Look for them. Listen to them. Imbibe inspiration in your life. Inspiration is going to make you to be inspired, and you're going to wake up and start doing things. Today, let me just give you another tool that you can be able to use. Probably you're saying to me, but Lawrence, apathy has been in my life for a very long time. How do I conquer it? Now, let me tell you one of the most practical things that you can be able to do that is going to help you to get out of that mode of apathy. And it is just simply organizing your life. I'm going to ask you to do something that I ask everyone that I meet to be able to do. I'm going to ask you to simply create a timetable. Apathy means you're just rolling by. You're on autopilot. Life was never meant to be on autopilot. The only things that are supposed to be on autopilot are inanimate objects. Okay, maybe money being made can be on autopilot if you're getting residual income. But you as a human being, you're supposed to be alive every day. How do you get alive today? Getting alive today means that you schedule what you're supposed to do. You get intentional about what you're supposed to do. That is how you get life into your life. I do presume, and I do guess here, and probably I am right, that every place where apathy exists, there is no intentionality, there is no timetable, there is no schedule, there is no plan. I will tell you that, and I want to stake something on it. If you are experiencing apathy 10 years now, 20 years, maybe even 2 weeks, or 1 month, or 1 year, or some decades, if you are experiencing apathy and you really want to get out of it, I guarantee you that probably that apathy exists because you do not have a simple timetable. A simple timetable for the week. A simple timetable that tells you there is an area of your life called physical, which is your health. So in your timetable this week, how many stretching exercises are you going to do? How many aerobics? What do they call those things? The aerobics are cardiovascular exercises. How many minutes are you going to do cardiovascular exercises? Right, and so on. How many minutes are you going to use strength training? So you put those in your timetable this week. Monday I'm going to do cardio. Tuesday I'm going to do something else. Wednesday I'm going to do stretching. Thursday I'm going to do something else. Friday I'm going to do strength, so that week is particularly marked out in terms of my health. And then there's another area in my life called relationships. I need to spend at least 10 hours every week in constant communication with people where there is no gadgets, there is no phone, there is no TV, there are no games I'm playing. I'm just talking to my wife, I'm talking to my children, I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking to my friends. We are just connecting, right? And you become intentional about it. And then there's another area of your life which is business, or the mind. There's a book I'm supposed to be reading on this particular topic. Maybe this first quarter of the year, I just want to read about planning. And then you read all there is to do about planning. In other words, I am asking you to be intentional about your life and to jot it down, to schedule it. Just like we normally put a bridle on a horse, and we move the horse by bridle. we should do the same thing with ourselves. The timetable becomes our bridle. Let us not do things without having them timetabled, without us sitting back and saying, I am going to do X, Y, Z on Monday at a particular time with a particular person, and on Tuesday I'm going to do this, and on Wednesday. Your timetable is intentional. Let me tell you, if you have that set in place, there is absolutely no way that apathy is going to have an upper hand in your life. You will be killing apathy by installments, slowly by slowly, and before you know it, apathy is not an enemy you need to contend with anymore, because what you've simply done is to take action, institute action, to be intentional, and to be in charge and in control of your life. So if apathy has been existing in your life for a while now, the second thing I'm going to ask you today is to create a timetable. Tomorrow I'm going to ask you to do another thing. I'm going to give you another tool that you can be able to use to overcome it. But until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.